Hey everybody, welcome to Ron's Basement, and I hope you enjoy my daddy's show.
Are you prepared for financial Armageddon in March of 2024? We're going to examine that in this video. You hold silver, you hold gold to protect yourselves, but what is coming down the pipe in March when added together could create a very scary situation for the U.S. economy, for U.S. citizens? We're going to dig into it in this video. Maybe it will be a complete nothing burger. Have you ever noticed that in life? A lot of times all these events that get built up, wind up being a big nothing. However, when we look at everything going on and we consider all the factors that could contribute to some serious financial woes in this country, it becomes very disturbing. Hey, thank you for joining me today. You are the most important part of Ron's Basement. It's a big honor for me when you choose to give us some of your time here in the basement. Please subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Now, what's the first thing, and nobody's really talking about this, is the fact that in March, funding for the federal government will run out again. We could be facing another government shutdown. Now, we may have a little giggle and say, well, hey, that won't affect us, that won't impact us, but that does have an impact on the U.S. economy, especially now that the government contributes so much to the economy. But nobody's really talking about it. Is it because they just keep kicking the can further and further down the road? Or possibly, could we see a hard stance by maybe the Republicans? Because this is an election year. We do have Jerome Powell, who was on 60 Minutes the other night, talking about how critical this fiscal situation has become in this country with the national debt and the deficits that are being run. So that's just the first big event heading at us in March. I want to talk about the next big event, but first we want to say thanks to channel sponsor Pimbex. They really do check all the boxes. If you're looking to get yourself some silver, gold, or platinum, do yourself a favor and check out Pimbex. I was a customer of theirs before they took on sponsoring Ron's Basement. I think you'll find what I found. They've got all the bases covered. I think Pimbex is best, and you will too. What's number 2 coming down the pike towards us in March? How about the Bank Term Funding Program, the bailout program that the Fed and the Treasury cooked up just about a year ago when we had the massive bank failures that were going on in early 2023? A big relief program, bailout, whatever you want to call it. They are terminating that on March 11th of this year, just at a time when the banks find themselves with treasuries that still aren't worth anything near their face value, and a wave of potential commercial real estate defaults headed at the regional banks. We could see another banking crisis here in the next few months. Again, I don't want to be sounding alarms or saying anything that will happen for sure, but we're just looking at everything in aggregate that's going on, and it doesn't look real optimistic. What else do we have coming in March, early April? How about the Fed's reverse repo program? That was the program the Fed put in place. It built up a slush fund, essentially, of $2.5 trillion. The banks had all this extra cash during that little health crisis that we had back in 2020, when the Fed printed 40% of the U.S. dollars that were ever in existence. The banks didn't know what to do with all the cash. So the federal government set up a reverse repo program that allowed the banks to park that cash with the Fed. The Fed then, in the last year, has been feeding that back to the banks. I like to call it kind of a stealth QE program. The only problem is the fund, the reverse repo fund, had grown to almost $2.5 trillion at one point. Now it is down 80%, with only $500 billion left, and there has been a steady, gradual decline. When that runs out, people are wondering, because the banks are getting all that cash and using it to buy U.S. treasuries, Who's going to be the buyer of all these U.S. Treasuries that need to be issued or renewed in the coming year? I'd like to say thank you to channel sponsor Fortuna Silver Mines. If you're interested in a mining company that mines both silver and gold and does it all around the world, do yourself a favor and check out Fortuna Silver, fortunasilver.com. So we've talked about 3 factors, but is there more? Yes, there is. We know the federal government could be facing shutdown. We know the bank term funding bailout program is coming to an end. We know the reverse repo program is running out of money. But what about just the general economy? What do we know there? We know layoffs are going up and up and up, and we mean good jobs that people are getting laid off from, when the new jobs that are being created, don't they all seem to be like part-time jobs, things like delivering Big Macs or Burger King or Taco Bell? Big jobs are going away. Companies like UPS, companies like Citibank, 6-figure jobs with good benefits. And people are having a hard time finding comparable work. But on top of that, we also know that general business activity is slowing down. Most recently, we heard from UPS, who said that their shipping volume was down by almost 8%. Now, we don't want to be doom and gloom everything, right? And maybe this will all turn into a big nothing burger. But one thing we do want to do is be risk assessors, and that's what we're doing. And when we look at what's coming at us, it sure feels like we could see a confluence of factors that could create some very major events in the month of March, maybe into early April. I know one thing for sure. I'll be here for you through it all. Again, thank you for joining. Please subscribe to the channel, give this a thumbs up, and the super thanks are always super appreciated. But number one, you be well, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon.